With the return of the NFL, life is restored into the souls of many Americans across the country. But with that joy and excitement comes a dark, uncertain feeling, fueled by many unanswered questions. Will the Chiefs be going back to the Super Bowl? Will the Bears ever get good again? Will Eagles fans ever get out of our ear about their last Super Bowl victory? We're about to find the fuck out! Thanks for stopping by and tuning into my 2025 NFL season uncertified week 1 predictions. Let's get right into the first game. Cowboys and Eagles, America's team versus America's other team. The Cowboys' biggest move this offseason was made just last week actually, as of recording this video, with the bold trading of Micah Parsons. Because, hey, them draft picks, am I right, Jerry Jones? Damn, Dallas, you guys are really having it rough, aren't ya? First Luka, now Micah. I don't know if it has anything to do with this picture right here, but I'm just saying neither of them look like they want to be there. And I'm not even going to get into the Dallas Stars, but I know they're pissing y'all off too. But anyway, no more Micah Parsons for the Cowboys, and also no more DeMarcus Lawrence. So that defense is looking much less intimidating now. They did sign 2 running backs with a pretty solid history of going crazy in previous seasons, so hopefully they'll develop a nice run game as the season goes. As for the Eagles, their roster hasn't changed a whole lot, but looking at it now, I'm seeing a lot of questionable offensive starters for this team. I'm talking Landon Dickerson, A.J. Brown, and a few other big names. But regardless, I'm going to give this one to the Eagles because they still look like a much more stable team. It's also being played in Philly, and again, with the Cowboys, the loss of those big name players on that defense, I feel like really rocked their ship a little bit. Next, you got the Chiefs going against the Chargers as both teams fly overseas to play in Brazil. The games between these two teams are always really close, but they always end the same, with the Chiefs winning by the standing hairs on their skin. I don't know, I just feel like as a team, the Chargers are not much worse than the Chiefs. I feel like they're right behind them in terms of talent, coaching, and player-wise. Like, they could very much beat the Chiefs, and I would like that, but I have a feeling the Chiefs are going to pull some funny shit again, so I got KC winning this one. Next, you got the Dolphins versus the Colts. For the Dolphins, Tyreek Hill is still there, which is a bit surprising to me. I thought he made it pretty clear that he didn't want to be there no more, but hey, he's still there. He is questionable though, so not sure if he'll be playing. As for the Colts, also to my surprise, they're starting Daniel Jones and not Anthony Richardson. Interesting. I mean, the Dolphins have a pretty solid defense, and it looks like they went to work on it this offseason to make it even better than what it already was. And I think their defense will be able to hold it down this game and get them the win. Next, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the New York Jets. Pretty funny that Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields are going against their former teams to start out the year. I mean, even though they only played for those teams for 1 year. I just thought I'd point that out. Just looking at the rosters, I don't see any reason why the Steelers don't win this game. Even though in my last video I kind of went at the Steelers for signing a bunch of big name players that likely won't get any super good chemistry going, I still think they're miles ahead of the New York Jets, who don't have a whole lot going for them. Now, I won't ignore the Jets defense because that I believe is still really good, even though Robert Saleh is no longer with them anymore. And Saleh is a bit of a defensive genius, but he's not there anymore. I still think the Jets' defense is, pretty good. I actually have this being a low-scoring game. I don't think these guys will combine for 40 points this game. Like, both defenses are really good, but the Steelers should pull this out, no problem. Next, you got the Panthers versus Jaguars. 2 young cat teams trying to grow and rebuild their way back to relevance. And you bet your ass I am not watching this game. Last year, both defenses were awful, but at least the Jaguars' offense was, fine, all right. And I just think they're a more well-rounded team in general, so I'm gonna have them winning. Next up, we have the Cardinals versus the Saints. And look, I told you about them September Saints. Don't underestimate the Saints in September. They're nice like that. I'm telling you. Even if they're being led by Spencer Rattler, Look, it don't matter. It don't matter. The fact of the matter is, it's the week 1 Saints, all right? Looking at the Cardinals offense, it looks pretty solid. They got a lot of talent there and potential to do some great things this year. I just don't know if they will. For a while now, the Cardinals have lacked consistency, and the Saints, it's the September Saints will eat that shit up. Like, if you're not walking into a game with 100% confidence and certainty, the September Saints will stomp you. And I think that's what's going to happen with the Cardinals. Saints are going to win. Next, you got the New York Giants versus the Washington Redskins. The Giants don't have many notable players on their team except for Russell Wilson, but you're going to need more than Mr. Unlimited to be taken seriously this season, especially when you're going against a team like the Redskins, who just kind of blew up last year. And Washington did get rid of Brian Robinson, but in return for Deebo Samuel, who I am personally curious to see how he'll do on the new team, because Deebo was my favorite player, and then he just kind of fell off. But we're going to see if it was because he just wasn't working out with the Niners, or if he really is just washed now. But yeah, I got the Redskins winning. I just think they're a better team overall than the Giants. Next, you got the Buccaneers taking on the Falcons. In my last video, I talked about how the Falcons could be a rising team, but they don't seem to be rising because they just can't seem to put the pieces together, because they have all kinds of talent on their roster. They're just not making it work. They're really not. And in that video, I had predicted the Falcons to go 7-10, but here I am now. I'm feeling like I want to join the coping Atlanta fans and say that this is the year that they start to, really get going a little bit. So I'm changing my prediction for the Falcons to 10-7, and I'm also going to have them beating the Buccaneers here. They've been kind of beating on the Bucs lately. And again, they have a talented roster. They just need to make it work. But yeah, I'm changing to a bit more of a successful season for the Falcons, starting with a win here versus the Bucs. Next, you got the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Cleveland Browns. Now, the big takeaway from Cincinnati last season was that their defense couldn't stop a kid from swiping a bag of chips and a candy bar from a store. But this offseason, it really looks like they went to work on that defense and trying to patch up and improve the issues with it. And looking at their defense now, it looks a lot more promising. That offense already looked about as good as it needed to be. We just got to see how the defense looks going into this season. As for Cleveland, in my last video, I said that I would be getting a taste of what it's like to be a Browns fan as a Shedeur Sanders supporter. Shedeur Sanders is the third string quarterback. I am not a Browns fan right now, and I will have no problem watching them get stomped on by the Cincinnati Bengals, which is exactly what I think is going to happen. I'm not saying that just because they're not starting Shedeur Sanders. Their offense just in general doesn't look super good. And their defense, I don't know what's going on with that either. So I just think the Bengals are a better team right now. Next, you got the Vegas Raiders taking on the England Patriots. Last year, the Raiders' defense was fine, and even now it still looks fine. But as far as notable players on their offense, they've got Brock Bowers and Ashton Jeanty. I'm not going to lie, I don't know how to say his name, so I'm just going to say Ashton for now. And then they also got Raheem Mostert behind Ashton. And I guess Amari Cooper we can throw in there as well. No, Geno Smith is not a notable addition. He wasn't even notable for the Seahawks, barely. Meanwhile, the Patriots just signed Mike Vrabel to be their head coach, baby. I trust Mike Vrabel to take good care of the Patriots. That man knows how to run an NFL team. He's been doing it with the shitty-ass Titans for the past decade. I think he could do the same, or at the very least, uplift the Patriots just a little bit and make them become at least a bit of a threat in the AFC. Problem is, at the moment, Stephon Diggs, Ramondre Stevenson, and Christian Gonzalez are questionable to play this game. Literally their best players, so that's concerning. I want to pick the Patriots to win. I feel like they're the better team here, but if those guys do not play, their chances of winning are reduced greatly. I just don't know what to pick here. You know what? I'm gonna stick with the Patriots. I'm gonna pick the Patriots to win on a game-winning touchdown pass from Jacoby Myers. Next up, you got the San Francisco 49ers versus the Seattle Peacocks. Now, this is a game that intrigues me. These two teams always know how to entertain when they go against each other. Like, this is a W rivalry, even if it's not as intense as it was in the previous decade. In my last video, I called the Seahawks overhyped, but I took a look at their roster, and I was reminded that they got Cooper Kupp and DeMarcus Lawrence. They were also 14th overall in both offense and defense last year, so I was kind of talking out my ass last video. Just 2 minutes of research can make such a big difference. So I take it back, the Seahawks are not overhyped, or at least not yet. It's tough to see how they do on the field, but they look pretty solid now. As for the 49ers, I took a look at their depth chart, and at the time of recording, it looks like their injury bug from last year has carried over to this year, because look at all the red you see here. Holy shit, where do we start? Jawan Jennings, questionable. Dominic Puny, questionable. Brandon Ayuk, out. Demarcus Robinson, suspended. Coming over to the defense, Michael Williams, their first-round pick, questionable. CJ West, questionable. Nick Bosa, questionable. Lenore, questionable. Have mercy. Have mercy on the 49ers. This is just cruel. This is cruel. Anyway, positive notes. They got Robert Saleh back, who was previously the defensive coordinator for them in the 2020 season. Like, as a defensive coordinator, I feel like this is a W move for the 49ers to bring him back, because last year their defense it wasn't very good. However, again, Robert Saleh is coming from the Jets, so he's got that curse with him. But maybe that's what the lingering effect of the curse is doing to the 49ers, just like injuring more players and leaving so many questionable. I think that's what it is. Shit, before I started this video, I'm thinking the 49ers are going to win. But after, like, if they're missing all these players, I don't know. I don't know. You know what? I'm going to pick the 49ers anyway for the upset. That's my upset for the week. 49ers are going to win this. 49ers are about to pull off some crazy shit in Seattle. Watch. Next, you have a much less intriguing game. The Titans versus the Broncos. It looks like Cam Ward will be starting for the Titans, which, cool. We all want to see a rookie quarterback see what he can do. But even if Cam Ward plays great, I don't think that's going to be enough to, bring the team up. They're going to need more than just a quarterback, especially when going against a much better looking team like the Broncos. The Broncos roster just looks much more well-rounded and promising. Marvin Mims is questionable to play this game, and I feel like he's becoming a big piece of the team. But even if he doesn't play, I think the Broncos are going to pull this one out. They just come across as a much better team. Not to mention that it's being played in Mile High, so they already have the stamina advantage as well. And now we're back to intriguing games. Lions versus Packers. Now, I do think the Lions are a much better team than the Packers, but the Packers can beat the Lions. They've already made it happen a couple times in the past couple of years. And Dan Campbell is working with some new coordinators, so we'll see how that goes. As for the Packers, they just brought in Micah Parsons onto that defense, making that much more intimidating. Real curious to see how that defense is going to look now. There are some concerns as to who will be playing this game. Christian Watson is out, as well as questionable players like Jaden Reed, Xavier McKinney, Nate Hobbs. Packers are looking much better now. They're looking much better. I mean, this game could go either way, but I'm going to give this one to the Lions. The level of talent in their players, I think, will be what gets them to beat the Packers this game. So I got the Lions winning this one. Next, you got the Texans going to LA to battle the Rams. Now, I don't know if I forgot or if I'm just not noticing, but Nick Chubb signed with the Texans, and it looks like he will be their main running back. But the Rams got a star veteran player of their own in Devontae Adams in hopes that he'll be a good replacement for Cooper Kupp. I don't know why they just didn't keep Cooper Kupp, but hey, y'all, you do you, I guess. I have no doubt that this will be a very close game. I feel like these two teams are very evenly matched in terms of talent. I'm going to give this one to the Rams, though. They seem to just really have that clutch factor. In the fourth quarter, whether they're down or not, they always seem to manage to hold on and, pull out a victory. I'm going to give this one to the Rams this time. Then you got another game that could easily go either way. You got the Ravens taking on the Bills. Once again, the Ravens start out the year by going against the team that ended their previous season. I don't think the weather in Buffalo will be as icy and cold as it was in the divisional round. And if that's the case, then I think that's a good thing for the Ravens. I do feel like that's a piece of why they lost last time, though that doesn't excuse you from dropping a little granny pass at the goal line with the playoff game on the line. The last time these two went against each other in standard weather, the Ravens stomped on the Bills by running the ball constantly. Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, you know. But they did that by running the ball. So should the Ravens lean on their dominant run game in this matchup, that should get the job done again. I don't know why they wouldn't, resort to running the ball a lot. Obviously, Buffalo can pull this one out, but I do feel like the Ravens are just a bit better of a team here. I think they'll pull this one out. And finally, for Monday Night Football, we got the Vikings taking on the Bears in Chicago. It'll be interesting to see both teams led by quarterbacks that were drafted last year, Caleb Williams, and especially J.J. McCarthy, who we have yet to see play a regular season game. But I'm looking at the Vikings depth chart, and I'm seeing a lot of red here. I'm seeing questionable for Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison suspended, C.J. Ham, IR. A couple of big names on defense are questionable to play. So that's concerning if you're the Vikings. However, you're going against the Bears. The Vikings have been kind of riding on the Bears for the past couple of years. And the Bears in general are just pretty unlucky. Whereas the Vikings are pretty lucky. So here's what I'm going to say. I got the Vikings winning, but on some lucky ass shit. Like, I'm talking whether it be a Hail Mary, field goal block, Bears on the game-winning drive go to spike, but they take a knee instead for some reason. I have the Vikings winning on some weird shenanigans this game. Burning hot take, I know, but when it comes to NFL's week ones, shit like that is not uncommon.